back then I knew how to play the drum, I knew how to play the guitar.
Oh, you already know the beat count,
Yes,
what it is.
counting bars in music. So I saw the pattern. I saw, okay, I saw the metronome. I saw the tempo, all those things. So they were all familiar somewhat.
Okay.
And it was in the era of Azonto. That was when I started making beats.
Yo, what's up guys? Your main man here, JayDany. Welcome to the Creative Joint. So in today's episode, I have an incredible and super talented record producer. He's a music director and currently signed to Maple Grove Entertainment here in Lagos City. This guy has a history here in Criptonx Studios because when we first started, he used to come around and, we've done a couple of things way back then, and we're just glad to bring him to the studio to talk about creativity and what he's been about in the industry. I'm talking of none other than my homeboy Emzy in the building. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you so much, man.
Handshake is in order, man.
It's a privilege.
It's been a while. You're welcome. We're glad to have you. So we're going to go into your personal space, which is what the show is about. We're going to talk creativity and we'll dig specifically into your space, what you've been about as a record producer, as a music director. We understand, there's been a lot that has been going on around your space.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. So tell us quickly, what motivated you or inspired you to become a record producer? Were you born a record producer?
Yeah, I think so. That's the right way to put it. I was born.
Okay, so let's get to hear how that happened.
A lot of people, became producers learning under a producer, another producer, or an already established producer. But
okay, my
journey has been a soul movement, like SOLE movement. I was self-taught. I discovered it was a talent. I didn't need to be taught. I didn't need to, and it has been each time I sit in front of my door.
Yeah.
New ideas and new revelations and insights just get revealed. And
okay, look, because this is more exciting to hear. I hear most people say, look, they've actually been self-taught in a particular area, as a creative person. But when it comes to music production, I know like there are lots of creative parts and technical part that you need to learn at some point. Take us through that journey. Did you just get to know these things by yourself, or you got to a point that, especially when it comes to using softwares, the technical part, how did that come about?
Okay, so the first door that I got acquainted to was FL8, Fruity Loops 8, and it was the demo version. And back then, I tell you this, when I started, I would have stopped because there was nobody to pull me through. But I learned from mistakes. I freestyled. From freestyling, I got specifics. Like, if you'll understand patterning, like making use of patterns and then making use of playlists.
Yeah.
How I used to export my work back then was, I don't know if anybody understands these things, but I record with Edison recorder. And I usually, like, you see those green lights by the left? I turn it off if I don't want it. I turn it off. I did all these things, like turn it off. And at the end of the day, making like an 8-minute long beat
track,
because and it wasn't with structure.
Okay,
it was just like But over time, I got to mistakenly click on the playlist rack, and I'm like, "What does this do?"
And you didn't know what that was about.
I still mistakenly clicked the tabula rasa, the empty slate, and I saw a pattern go in.
Okay,
and I'm like, "Okay, why don't I dedicate a pattern to a particular channel or a particular instrument or VST sample?" So I now my instinct quickly told me that, okay, this is the way to pattern your track, to structure it. So that was how I got to, and there was some basic foundational knowledge or assumptions that I had about EQing.
Okay.
Like to the left is the bass.
Yeah.
Like it gets thicker to the bass, to the left, and it gets brighter to the right, talking about frequencies.
Okay.
So That's how I got to, and I get to hear a lot of people say things, but each time I hear words, my mind just finds a way of explaining it to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I make my mistakes. I let myself make my mistakes in front of my door, and in that mistake, I get to find perfection.
Wow.
I first got a studio to manage at 2016.
Okay.
So that was where my music industry life started. But prior to that, I started music generally, holistically at 2007. That was when I started playing the piano.
Okay.
And over the years, I got acquainted to mixing engineers with other instrumentalists and whatnot. I rolled with them. And sometimes I hear them make use of some terms like headroom, noise cancellation, panning,
Exactly.
equalization, and what have you. And I hear them saying these things in the background. So when I saw FL Studio, I was seeing all these things.
Yeah.
I was seeing all these things, and I already had an idea or two about them.
The fair knowledge of what.
You understand me?
Yeah.
So that made it easy for me because I already had this. Now in music, you already know, I know how to play the drums.
Yeah.
Back then, I knew how to play the drum, I know how to play the guitars.
Oh, you already know the beat count.
Yes,
what it is.
counting bars in music. So I saw the pattern. I saw, okay, I saw the metronome. I saw the tempo, all those things. So they were all familiar somewhat.
Okay.
And it was in the era of Azonto. That was when I started making beats. That was, and the first beat I made was, I tried to remake, some money no be problem. Can that Sarkodie song? But Mastercraft was the person who really opened my mind. I'm someone who gets better by listening. I listen to what I want to sound like. I listen to what I want to sound like. You know, I don't have to be in front of them showing me this. Once I hear, my mind finds a way of interpreting. For instance, how I started playing the piano, I was self-taught. It's a gift because I started combining tonic solfas in my head.
Wow.
And I was right. Like, the first song I transcribed was I Love Jesus, you know now. Like, do, re, mi, fa, sol. So I could hear a sound and I would transcribe it. So I could play it. And so I was hearing the sounds. I could just la. They were holding la chord. That was one thing they hold for the Azonto stuff.
Yeah.
So la, da, la, so. So it was just like that. And that playlist thing, it was easy for me to record using a Edison recorder because that la must be there. It is the soul. It's the key melody of the whole thing.
Exactly.
So that's just how it was. I opened my mind to, the whole
learning,
process.
the whole process. And this is an incredible story. You know, we hear loads of story how, creatives have been self-taught, but yours is really, really a unique one, I must say. Let's go deep into, of course, after you learned and, of course, you're now in your space of creating different music, different music tracks, songs, and also eventually you get to direct music as well.
Yes.
So talk to us about your creative process. Say, for instance, you want to produce a track, with whatever DAW you use, okay? How does it work? What are the processes?
Well, if I get a tabula rasa,
I
like to start with the melodies.
Okay.
I like to start with the melody, the actual main melody of the song. And I like to see myself as an ocean of melodies. A lot is inside. And I like to save the best for last, which is the bass.
Yeah. The bass usually will carry it around in the end, of course. It's what gives
the
it that.
bass, But once I'm done getting the right melody that fits, that suits my mood or the moment, or whatever, my artist gives me, whatever voice note or whatever my artist is singing around me, I get the right melodies. Immediately the drums comes in. Oh Lord God.
Music is out.
So this is what I experienced. The drummer motivates the pianist.
Okay.
Then the bassist motivates the drummer. Then the pianist motivates the bassist. That's a circle of life.
Amazing circle.
That's a circle of life. Every other thing is complementary.
Yeah.
Like you have the lead guitarist, you have the saxophonist.
Yeah.
But once you've gotten these three major things,
Yeah.
every other thing just floats.
Self-fold.
So the major melody, which is the king, I feel is the piano.
Yeah.
The pianist or the melody line. That's how I choose to start. So that's how you motivate the drummer.
Yeah.
And that's when the drummer motivates the bassist and every other thing goes round. So that's how my whole process is. But I'm not really a cast in stone type of person.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
That's what
could, like majority I start with, but sometimes the drums might come first. Sometimes
exactly what I want to say, because I know
first.
most people say, I usually like to hear the beat, like the drum.
Yeah.
I want to kick with the drum.
Yeah.
And it happens at some point as well. I just want to hear the melody, the piano. I want to find chords to a song, and then I build along, you know.
Yeah.
So in all of this, what role does experimentation? Because I understand you don't just pick, maybe you just sit on your workspace and a melody is formed. So what role does experimentation play in all of this as a creative person? You're producing music. Do you experiment at some point? Oh, this didn't work. Let me try this.
Whatever it is you do in music production, every single step is an experimentation.
Correct that.
And that's the role it plays. Every single thing you do is an experimentation. You try and fail, you try and you get it.
Yeah.
It's all under the same umbrella of experimentation.
Of course. Amazing. That's a good answer, because I was actually expecting. Most people say, I already have it going. I already know what I want to do. So that's actually the correct answer, and it's amazing to know. Let's quickly pick up and talk about what inspired you, because we live in a world where I know there are lots of things that inspire me as a creative person while I'm making music, or maybe I'm just writing a song for myself. I'm making music for another artist. I know what inspired me. So for you, what would you say inspired you to want to create?
It's kind of like relative to my mood.
Okay.
Or my mood, basically. Like sometimes this is an icebreaker. Once I have a very amazing plate of beans, once I'm done eating, there's this.
Can you say that again? Because this kind of inspiration, this inspiration is making me begin to think.
No, when you
this guy doesn't look like a foodie, but he's saying this is what inspired him.
When you eat a well-cooked beans.
Oh my God.
Today bread. Oh God, oh Lord. No wonder it's as brown as my skin, bro. I mean, what more motivation do you need? Okay, fine. Or maybe most times when I see a movie too, it gives me some kind of inspiration.
Okay.
And also listening to songs that intrigues me.
Okay.
I just spontaneously just drop the song.
Yeah.
And then pounce on it. It all depends on my mood. I might be sad, I might be happy, I might be,
you bring out songs.
So it might be, those kind of a thing. So it's kind of like open-minded, but nothing beats love.
Okay. Amazing.
Nothing beats.
So now that we're talking of inspiration, can we talk about who also motivates and people that their work and maybe as a producer, as a record producer, as musicians, we actually at some point we look up to some person. Oh, these guys are doing amazing in their field. Who are these persons you would like to call? Maybe if you have maybe people you call mentors. Who are these persons that you would say has actually shaped and motivated and inspired your creative process?
I must have mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Mastercraft. Mastercraft was when I started.
Yeah.
Oh God, some kind of things it does like this. I'm like, okay,
I see the excitement there.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mastercraft.
Okay.
I appreciated him right from when I was young, and I still am appreciative of his existence because it motivated me to. It gave me more reason to keep at it.
Yeah.
It gave me a vision because then when he was working for Tim Godfrey, because that was where I met him. That was when I met him. Tim Godfrey was his major artist, and then he worked for Lynx. He worked for Banky W. He did stuff for a lot of people, flavor,
big musicians,
you know.
then, yeah.
So I listen to all these things, and because I'm a pianist, some things he does on the piano also busts my brain, you know. So if I will mention a name, he is the one.
Okay.
Then another one is John Bellion. I don't know if you notice the way his mixes sounds crispy, like cornflakes, you know, as if you are eating cereal. You know, my ears are just
his detail
fed.
with his mixing. Yeah,
you get. And then one last person.
Okay.
My friends will take it personal if I don't mention his name.
Okay.
I sing also, and he also produces Mali music.
So guys, if this is your first time of joining us, this is the show called The Creative Joint. This is the platform where we have different creatives ranging from record producers, musicians, actors, superstars, anyone doing something positively in the creative space. We bring them to come on the show and talk about what they do, their inspiration, and what they've been about in the industry. So if this kind of show appeals to you, kindly do leave us a subscription, leave us a like, a comment, tell us what you expect to see on the show. All right. So let's talk about challenges. In this industry, we know, you and I know how crazy this industry is. If you've been here long enough, which I understand you have been, of course, 7 years plus is not binge, right?
Yeah,
like we're talking about. You must have gotten your own share of challenges. Which would you say is like the most difficult? I know you're laughing.
Oh my God.
Which would you say is the most difficult and the most daunting that you have to face on a daily basis as a record producer?
Yeah, I swear to God. I don't know if this can be called a challenge, but I noticed that clients who pay less are the ones that stress you the most. They will tell you, dude,
It's sounding.
Meanwhile, play it to other people. They appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people who are worthy of listening, not just any ordinary people. They'll tell you, do this, do that. Dude, can you tweak this on top 5K? I mean,
I'm telling you.
and they keep saying it's not about the money, it's not about the money, it's not about the money. I nod my head like a lizard for 2 hours because you cannot be making beat and stand like small letter I now. I nod my head.
You have to feel the
back
vibe.
pains, neck pains, my ears being fatigued. I go through all this. You know, it's not easy, man. Many people think it's as easy as opening the PC and be clicking mouse. No, it's more to that. It's not easy to be creative, you know. And then you nod your head to all these things. Buy ibuprofen. Look for a comfortable bed to sleep on. I mean, and then you pay me peanuts. And then you stress me more than who is actually paying more. For the same service I'm rendering you. The level of ingratitude, you know.
I think for us here at Criptonx Studios, we've had a share of that, and it's actually a topic on our page that we spoke about sometime last week, you know, about this kind of client that you're mentioning. And so what we do is, I think it has to do with value, you know, anything like you bring down your price, like, okay, client calls, musician, he wants to record, and you say, okay, this is my fee. And he say, Baba, I beg now, collect this one now. Those clients definitely will be, because we've seen this over the years, not just as musicians, in film, in video production, it happens a lot. So what do you do then? Just make sure this is who you are. This is what you charge. And what we do is, please, if you can't afford the budget, it's fine. All right. Save for it. And if you can't save for it, next time we'll be happy to work with you. So I think that's been one of the craziest challenges. And of course, we can relate with that. All right. So we're going to go into a quick game segment. All right. So we're coming back to you to talk about like more of all you've been. And it's really an interesting one that we're really getting to talk about. Realities of, you know, being a recording musician and in Nigeria specifically. All right, guys. So in case you are just joining us, I can't say this enough. If this kind of show appeals to you and you do, enjoy this kind of content, do leave us a subscription, like this video, comment on it. And I'm still here with an incredible talent. He's a record producer, a musician himself. He is also signed currently to a record label. So he's not just a guy that's coming into the space. When you talk of experience, this guy has it. You know, this guy get on, like my people will talk, right? All right, Emzy, so you're ready. The game is called the quick fire game segment. That means in 60 seconds, you're going to attempt to answer as many questions as possible. So this is the only rule. If there's any question that you can't find an immediate answer to or you're not very comfortable with, you can say pass. That's the only time we're going to move to the next set of questions.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Timekeepers, you
Let's
ready?
get it.
You
Let's
ready?
get it.
Let's do it. All right, the time starts now. If your music had to be represented by a specific color, what color would it be?
Sky blue.
What's the weirdest thing that inspired one of your music production?
A 3-string guitar.
Okay, well, what's a common misconception about record producers?
We charge too much.
If you could collaborate with any artist or musician, dead or alive, who would it be?
Mal music.
Okay, what's your go-to piece of gear or software that you can never live without in a studio?
Software FL Studio. Wild gear piano.
Okay, if you could only use one instrument to make music for the rest of your life, what instrument will it be?
Piano.
Okay, what's the strangest place you've ever found inspiration?
In the toilet.
Nice. What's the most unusual instrument you've ever incorporated into your toolkit as a record producer?
A table.
Describe your creative process in 3 words.
Pass.
If you could time travel to any artistic era, which would it be, past or present?
Fela's era.
That's the past.
Yes, the past.
That's the past. Okay. In your estimation, who's the greatest music producer of all time? Out of Africa.
Out of Africa. Mastercraft.
Mastercraft. Okay, and the time is up. All right. That's amazing. I think you've been able to almost, brush this off. So you're going to see how many questions that you've been able to have on the screen there. Okay, amazing. So let's move on to the current project that you're currently working on. In fact, before we talk about current project, has there ever been a project that you produced for an artist? You're very real here and it wasn't really up to. And when you look back today, based on maybe when you first started, it wasn't that good, and has there ever been such experience?
Yes, of course.
Yes. You want to mention it?
It was I'm not gonna mention.
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
But after doing the beat, it was in a situation where I was really limited and I was going through a lot in my life.
Okay.
And I realized that the artists appreciated it more than I did.
Okay.
But whenever I go back and listen to the mix, it reminds me of the process that was involved in doing that, and the knowledge I have of now would laugh
exactly
at me back then.
And that kind of delivery, yeah.
So.
But usually that's life. If you ever get to a point where you look at your work maybe 5 years ago and you are not like you hate yourself, but you laugh, then there's a problem. Because life is supposed to be upward.
Actually.
You're upward, like you keep climbing, not like staying at the place. So definitely that's real, and I can relate with that because I remember like project I did like even 10 years ago as a musician or a record producer. Yeah. I just look at most of them, I listen to most of them, and like,
I swear.
Produce this.
It wasn't me.
So truly, that's life for you. So let's talk about difficult musicians. What I mean by difficult musicians, I am of the opinion that like lots of people that are doing music in the music industry don't have goddamn business doing music. Truly, that means they are music illiterate. They don't have any business being there. They don't understand what the music chord is, what the key is, and all. So like they just walk into your space and you just know once they just begin to sing, like, oh no, this one knows something to be here. So how do you deal with those kind of musicians? Because you must have seen them.
Whenever I'm faced with such people, I try my best to be kind.
Okay.
In attending to them because they came to me for a reason. They had a passion to do something, to create something.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be judgmental. I shouldn't even put them in that categorization and say, okay, these guys are bad people.
Yeah.
Because they are people in the first place.
They are people, of course. Nobody's saying they're not people.
You understand?
We're talking of in the context of I like your good boy and Samaritan kind of attitude. Which
sometimes I put them in their place.
But I'm saying like how do you deal with, because you know that like most of these guys, you finish the beat and you put them on the microphone. 4 hours later, you haven't recorded a thing. Because listen, it's a zeta, and you know auto-tune. Of course, most will say you use auto-tune to correct the key. They are singing on C. in first bar, second bar they are singing on F sharp, third bar they are moving back to A.
Yeah, that happens.
It's just these are like the kind of musicians I'm talking about. Not like you're going to kill them. We want to know, how do you relate with them?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you experience.
Yeah.
One client like that, I sent him a beat to record a vocal so that I would put it on the mix and do other things to be inspired by his vocal.
Okay.
The song was on key F, but he sang a tone lower.
Okay.
I mentioned it to him. Can you maybe take this? You are off key. But the person argued with me and said he's not off key. And I'm like, you are off key. He said, is it the timing? I said, you're off key. I realized it was becoming like a back and forth. But because of my experience, there's something I do on my FL Studio.
Yeah.
That I can transpose his voice to the key. And then I will, when I'm done with everything, I then sat him down and said, okay, listen to this too. So what I did to your voice and see what you did.
The original voice, yeah.
And I got his indulgence. I didn't crave it. I got it.
Yeah, Joe. No. Yeah.
The way it sounded when I pitch corrected, it wouldn't have sounded that way if he had done it correctly.
Okay.
So, but then I proved to him that he was off key. Till tomorrow, if I tell him he's off key, listen. And he's open to learn.
Yeah.
You understand? So the best I could do, based on I'm a music director, because of the experience I have my strategy of people who doesn't have tuned ears, because that's the problem.
Of course.
People who doesn't have tuned ears, I can tune them up to be able to be tuned.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. So I think that's one of the edge I have over music producers who doesn't have the experience in training vocals.
And they don't have the patience, first of all.
You understand?
So it's amazing. So let's talk about adapting to different genres. Of course, I know as a record producer, like there are most producers that they are just gifted with particular genre. Like for instance, Afrobeat, you know that this is just an Afrobeat record producer. But for you, I know like you venture into different genres, right? As a record producer, you do Afrobeat, you do different other genres. So how do you balance these different genres to make sure that when you are producing, say, reggae music, you can actually give it all, like, this is a reggae musician playing. And when you're also playing and producing an Afrobeat track, you can really stay true to it. Very balanced.
So there's this saying, when the foundation is destroyed, what can?
Oh man of God, tough.
So when the foundation is right, the righteous can soar, right? They can stand the test of time.
Okay.
Every genre has its rudiments.
True.
Every genre has its energy. Every genre has its temperament. Every genre has its elements.
Yeah.
Like when you hear log drum, first thing that comes to mind is Amapiano.
Yeah.
When you hear guitars, folk guitar, classic guitar, strumming chords, you hear country.
Yeah.
So I have been in music generally since 2007, and I've been exposed to different genres, to reggaeton. They're different. To dancehall, to salsa, to bossa. Now all these things are similar in itself. Then you have the country, you have the jazz, you have the classical, you have the Afropop, you have the Afrobeats. There's a difference. So Afrobeats, Afropop. There is the Alte cruise, or Alte. All these genres have their rudiments, and I understand them to a reasonable extent. The rudiment is the foundation through which the genre is being defined.
Yeah, because I think I can relate with what you say, because an artist sent the song once, so of course he wanted me to mix and master, generally of course. And this was an Afrobeat song. It had some tones that having more business coming into Afrobeats.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this doesn't work. I told him, first of all, we're going to change this. So he said, no, Baba, no change that more. And that tone where they use the flow. I told him, no. If you don't want to listen, that won't work at you. And that was the first thing we did. Once I changed the tone, look, the beat sounded like a different beat, truly. And he was like, when you listen, and everybody in the club were like, so this is completely all that there is to foundation that you're talking about. Once you understand it, it's easy to build upon it and just be flat. And so, for instance, if you're producing a reggae music, you definitely know that there are reggae tone. Not just go bring in log drum into reggae. Or that's not like the weirdest. Like you can get.
Or chicken.
No, you can actually be creative at some point.
If you want a fusion.
If you want a fusion and you want to be crazy, there's really no limitation in this thing, but there are like rules and basics, right? Foundation. So I can relate. Look, man, we're actually at the end of the show, which is the part that I hate the most. But I mean, we have to do this. It's been amazing speaking with you. What would be that advice that you would want to give to a young, up-and-coming, aspiring young musician and local producer?
The best thing that will happen to you, or the best thing that you'll ever do, is making mistakes.
Yeah? I think you should say that again, man. That's deep, man.
The best thing that you should think of doing, or you should ever do, is making mistakes and learn from it. The downfall of a man is not the end of his life. He stands up and stands up stronger. Suffer doesn't kill you, but makes you stronger. Keep making your mistakes. That is what leads to perfection.
Amazing. Look, you heard it all, and that's actually very deep. That's why I asked him to repeat that particular statement, because if you don't fall, like we hear in Africa, you can never walk. Like a child, right? Learning to walk, you have to fall, and you have to fall a couple of times. That's the mistake that he's talking about. It's been amazing talking with you, Emzy, all right? Look forward to bringing you back to the show next time. Maybe if you have any big project coming, well, we'll see you at
I'll be glad to be here.
You're welcome, man. At any time, you're welcome to work. All right, guys. So I've been speaking with an incredible record producer. He is a music director, a sound engineer, and he's been doing loads of incredible things in the industry already. So you want to check out what he does, do follow him on the social media platforms and see what he does. Follow him, hook up with him. You want to produce some amazing banging vibe. This guy can give you that, all right? So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, I can't say this enough. Kindly do so. Leave us a subscription, leave us a like, a comment. Tell us what you want to see on the show next. And if you have a particular celebrity, creative person that you want us to bring on the show, do comment. And you never know. The next time you may be watching the show, the guy could actually be on the show. All right. It's been amazing presenting your main man, JayDany here, signing out. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.